everyone, welcome to episode 10 of Otome Shimai.
I'm Vicky.
And I'm Vika.
And we are sisters who play Ultimate games.
Quick side note here. We recorded this episode before posting our survey on Reddit and Twitter, and we just wanted to take a minute to thank every one of you who spent time filling it out. We truly appreciate all of the feedback on what you all are interested in hearing more about on Otome Shimai, and we are super excited to incorporate more of that into our future episodes. So again, thank you for spending time with us, and we hope we can create more things that you'll love. Today we are talking about undateable characters from Otome games who we want to date in Sidetracked by Side Characters.
But first, we need to talk about who we are doing this week.
Okay, Vicky, tell me, who are you doing this week?
So I am super, super excited because I actually finished Shingen's route.
Woo! That's great.
Yeah. Shingen from Ikemen Sengoku, the mobile game. Mm-hmm. And if you guys remember, when I started his route, I was like, oh my god, this guy is such a giant flirt. I am not going to be interested in him at all. He is one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. He really surprised me.
He's mature.
He is. He is a giant flirt, but he is also very emotionally mature compared to a lot of the other characters, and like really understands his responsibility, and he doesn't like screw with the MC's emotions. There's a lot of consent going on, which is
He
nice.
does. He asks her, right?
Mm-hmm.
If he can kiss her, or if he can like
Yeah, he does. So I really, really like him. He is now my number 2 favorite character in Ikemen Sengoku.
Who's the first one?
Hideyoshi.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, Hideyoshi.
Hideyoshi. Anyways, Vika, who are you doing this week?
I'm playing the new event in Obey Me, Toys Galore. Mm-hmm. And so I guess there's no real one person's route. As you know, with Obey Me, you date all of them.
Please date all of them.
But the story for this event is really cute because basically they are at a party at Diavolo's. And Mamon finds... actually, Diavolo gives them a present, or he finds a gift, and Mamon opens it, and he's like, what's in here? No. And then he pulls out a robot with no face, and he's like, wow, this robot sucks, and he chucks it over his shoulder. And then, apparently, the robot's very unhappy, so they all end up in, like, this toy world where they have to pretend to be toys. All of the characters get to wear onesies of animals, so like, Levy is a shark, and Lucifer is a unicorn.
Oh!
And
I love
Simeon is a bear. It's adorable. It's really, really cute. And basically you have to, like, avoid getting caught by the other toys in the town, this, like, toy made-up town. But it was really cute. It's a cute event. The cards are adorable. I want them all. I don't have the UR card. I only have the SSR cards and the SR cards. But I did do a story from one of them, one of the Devilgram stories, and that's really cute with Simeon in it. I'm not going to share too much, because if you're playing that game, you should go do that Devilgram story because it's really cute on your own. But, yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with Obey Me.
Well, you're also a Simeon stan, so of course you would like his card.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm glad you are enjoying Obey Me. I haven't done any of the events in a while just because it is a pain in the butt to get the UR cards. But I'm glad to hear about them from you.
Yeah, so the thing about Obey Me is I really like playing the events more than I do, like, just grinding through the story. I don't know. I think the one-time events and doing, like, a little thing in between is really nice, and it's kind of a refresher, and you don't need to, like, really be on it all the time. You know what I mean? When you're doing a standalone game, you have to follow the storyline. So if you forget where you are in the route, it's going to be hard to get back in. But with Obey Me and the little events, it's not really like that.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I like the story.
Yeah.
But that's okay. We can have different opinions there. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself.
Fine.
It makes me happy.
We do have different opinions.
Yeah. In fact, we're going to be talking about some of our different opinions right now because we definitely have different opinions on which side characters we want to date.
Yes.
So the first game that we're going to talk about is a couple of characters from Color Times Malice.
Yes, and this is so online for us because we were both playing this game.
Yeah, we both just finished Color Times Malice, so it's fresh in our minds, and there are a lot of side characters in this game.
There are.
So we're actually only going to talk about a couple of them that we want to date, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to talk about anything else in this episode.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about your first undateable desire?
My undateable desire. I like that. Especially for this one, because my first side character who I'd like to date is Morioka Hajime. And he is the Division 1 section chief. He is the main ally, Eiji Yanagi's ex-boss. And he's gruff, he's strict, he's very manly. He's a very manly man.
Big manly man.
Big manly man. He's really, really sexy.
Yeah, he is very sexy.
Definitely would have a one-night stand with him. But the problem is, he seems like he'd be too busy with work for any type of relationship.
All he does think about is work.
Yeah,
really.
I get that feeling.
Even in, like, the fun scenes where they're all, like, having a good time and chatting it up, he's like, work? Investigations? Crime? And you're like, no, we're, like, hanging out. It's a fun, calm, relax your...
What's fun?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But he is super hot.
He is. He's really, really hot.
Yeah.
So he's my number one. But the second one who I wanted to talk about is Sakuragawa Kotoho. And she is a forensics officer, which I think is a super sexy job.
Yes.
I was, like, super into CSI when I was younger. So the fact that they put a forensics officer in here and made her one of MC's close friends, I thought was really, really cool. She's super chill. She's fun to hang out with. Like I said, she's Ichika, the MC's friend, and she's also her drinking buddy. They like to go out drinking.
Yeah, I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they go out drinking, and it's really fun.
It is.
Because she's a little bit of a lush.
She
encourages Ichika to drink.
Yeah, both of her friends do. But
yeah.
the thing that really cinched it for me is that Sakuragawa loves meat. She loves barbecue. All she wants is to have, like, beef and chicken, and I don't think I've ever said this on the podcast before, but two of my favorite foods are yakiniku and Korean barbecue.
Meat.
So I can just imagine us going out on yakiniku dates all the time and just having so much fun with it.
It was really fun. It was really funny in sort of in the beginning of the game when Ichika has to kind of get close to Sakuragawa because she has information.
Yeah.
And they're like, give her meat. And she will be on your side. And she does. She makes like a bento for her and instantly, like that, friends.
It was great. It was great. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, when you said she likes meat, for a second I was thinking, oh, that's not going to go across very well. Like, people are going to think different kind of meat, but you're talking about food.
I like food, okay? I like food.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sakuragawa is great. But Vika, I know that you have a couple of people in Color Times Malice who you want to date but can't. So who are they?
So my first undateable desire is Minegishi-san. Minegishi Seiji.
Minegishi-san.
Yes. And he works with your first undateable desire, Morioka. And he's the Division 1 commissioner for the investigations unit. So he's the... calm to Morioka's brute.
Yeah, so Morioka comes in and, like, he's the hammer.
Yeah.
And Minegishi is like, calm down.
Yes, he's calm, he's relaxed, he's very nice, he's very thoughtful, he thinks things through. Mm-hmm. He often tends to, like, hold Morioka back and be like, okay, let's not bull in a china shop here. Let's think this through. Mm-hmm. And he does a good job of that.
Yeah.
Oh, and also he's hot. Like, he wears glasses. He's a very, like, elegant-looking guy. I totally want to date him. He looks like he'd be shy in public, but, like, in private, it might be a little bit more, spicy or interesting.
Oh.
Yeah, I'd marry that guy.
So he's marriage material.
He's marriage material, for sure.
Yeah, so the two main guys who are in charge, one is like the one-night stand dude, and the other is your husband.
Exactly. I would go home to him every night.
Works out great.
It works out great. But, so the other character that I wanted to talk about was, at the beginning of the game, you get introduced to the people in Ichika's life, and one of the first characters you interact with is her supervisor at work. And as soon as he shows up on scene, I yell out loud, like, why can't you date him? Why isn't he a main character?
You very quickly find out why.
But basically, his name is Mochida-senpai, Mochida Masanobu. He's super optimistic, he encourages her all the time, he's sweet to her, he looks out for her, but he's also married and has a wife who he loves very, very much.
And like, talks about all the time.
He really loves his wife. I was so sad because in one of the routes, I think it was one of the routes that I had played that I didn't find out he had a wife yet, and he says something about going home and eating his wife's kare, and I was like, oh my god, his wife makes him kare and he loves it, and that means I'll never get to date him.
I will never forget this. This is one of the characters that inspired this episode, because every time he comes on screen, Vika will point and be like, why can't I date you?
Yes, Mochida senpai. He's so sweet.
He's married.
So okay, but like, you know he's marriage material because somebody married him.
Just because someone is married doesn't necessarily mean that they're marriage material.
Well, I think in another storyline, it might have been fun to have a little thing with Mochida senpai and he leave his wife for her. That's never going to happen. Yeah, that doesn't happen in Otome games. I'm sorry.
Actually, there are some voltage games where you're a married woman and cheat on your husband. So if you're into that kind of thing, go to voltage. But Color Times Malice does not have this aspect.
I'm not saying Ichika and Mochida senpai should have an affair. I'm just saying that he's a really great character, and I would really like, in an alternate universe, like to date a character like him. He's sweet and he's nice. He looks out for her.
He does. He's a very good boss.
Yeah.
So those are some of the side characters in Color Times Malice that we would want to date.
That's right.
There are more side characters in Color Times Malice that we'd go for, but like I said, too many, not going to talk about that. Let's talk about Café Enchanté.
Now, this is a game you played, I didn't play.
Yeah, Gensol Kisa Enchanté. There are a couple of side characters that I was interested in this game, but the number one who I was really upset I couldn't date because I liked him better than I liked the Li in this route is Epilogi.
Epilogi.
So Epilogi is an angel. He's a quote-unquote fallen angel, and he's really only in Ill's route. Ill is one of the Lis, and Epilogi is like the leader of the fallen angels. He helps out the MC and the other Lis when they're being chased. He's super cool. He's really sexy. He's super built. He is.
Does he have wings?
He does have wings. They're like black wings.
Oh my gosh.
And he's really outgoing and friendly. He's got this big sexy smile. Yeah, so I thought he was great, and I was really, really mad and sad that he only really appeared in one route, and that he only had a few scenes, and I am one of the people who is still kind of holding out hope that Café Enchanté is going to get a fan disc. It's been over a year since the game was released, and usually they'd announce it by now, so I don't know, but please let me date Epilogi. Please let me date the sexy angel man who wears a toga and shows off half of his very manly chest.
Yeah, I thought when you showed me some of your photos of him, I was like, he's actually way hotter than Ill.
Yeah,
like,
he is.
I don't like Ill's character design. Like, I wasn't really into his personality when you were playing the route and you were like, oh, this is the one I'm doing. But Epilogi, he's a cutie. He's a hottie patati.
I like that. Hottie patati. So that is the character from Café Enchanté who I want to date very badly.
Yes.
What about you, Vika? What's the next game that we're going to talk about that you've played?
So the next undateable that I want to talk about is Mine from Amnesia.
Amnesia?
Yeah, Amnesia. This is the game where you go through 4 different guys' routes. Each one is after a suit in a deck of cards. And Mine is one of the heroine's co-workers at the maid cafe that she works at.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She works at a cafe.
She works at a maid cafe. And so do some of the Lis. They work as, like, butlers or cooks in the maid cafe. It's really cute. The interesting thing about Mine is that she's, like, really cute and she's really bubbly, but in 2 of the routes, she actually is the heroine's love rival.
Oh.
So in Ikki's route, she's actually in, like, the Ikki fan club.
Because he's, like, the super popular guy.
Yeah, he's super popular. He's, like, celebrity status, and he has his own fan club. And that's kind of, like, one of the things between the heroine and her getting close to Ikki is the tension between her and the fan club. And the whole thing with Mine is that she's in the fan club, and she keeps trying to date Ikki, but Ikki keeps turning her down. And then he decides to date the main character, and Mine is not happy about that. She's really upset. And then in Clover route, in Kent's route, she actually has an issue with the heroine going on a date because she thinks that the person she's going on the date with is Waka, but in actuality, the heroine is dating Kent. And so there's a huge miscommunication, but she's super mean to the main character in that route. But in the other routes, she's really, really cute. She's like a good coworker to her. She's very kind. She's bubbly. She's energetic. She's adorable. And I don't know. I thought it would be really cute if you could like I would love to go on a date where you go shopping, you go to cafes, you go to like do the fun stuff that you don't do in this game.
In Amnesia, I feel like most of your dates involve dying.
Quite a few do. Or getting injured, or being harassed by somebody's fan club. Like, they're
Sounds
not really
fun.
fun or exciting. I also thought maybe I wanted to date her best friend Sawa, but I think Sawa has too many friend vibes.
Oh.
Like, she's kind of a tomboy. She's also really cute and energetic, but I think too many friend vibes for her. I'd way rather date Mine. So that was Amnesia. You didn't play Amnesia.
I didn't play Amnesia.
But we both played Hakuoki, and there's one character that we want to talk about from this game.
Yeah, we both played Hakuoki. And the thing about Hakuoki is that in the original game, there are a lot of side characters that you cannot date. But then they remade the game, and you can suddenly date most of those side characters.
Yeah. I like that they gave them actual roots.
I mean, we could probably have a whole episode on those characters, but we're going to focus on the one who didn't get a root, and we wanted to get a root, and that is Shiranui Kyo.
Yeah.
And Shiranui is Kazuma's lackey. Probably wouldn't approve of that term.
He really doesn't like Kazuma, though.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't really like Kazuma, but he works for Kazuma. And Kazuma is one of the main antagonists. He's also an ally. So Shiranui shows up with Kazuma a lot, and then at some point they kind of split off from each other. And Shiranui shows up a lot in specifically Harada and Sakamoto's roots. He is like this rough-speaking, gun-toting demon. He's got this like big wavy ponytail.
He's a sexy guy.
He is. He's a sexy guy. And the thing that I thought was really interesting is that they gave him like a full-on backstory. And that's really rare for someone who isn't an ally.
Yeah.
So this takes place during kind of like the opening of Japan and the era of the Shinsengumi. And Shiranui was friends with Takasugi Shinsaku. And because of that, even though Shiranui is a demon, he has this connection with a human who he was friends with. And they had like a really nice broship, but then Takasugi died.
That's
so
terrible.
Yeah. He died of tuberculosis, as they
all
do
in this era.
Yeah. So it really added a lot to the character, and you don't really find that out in the original game. In the remake, you end up talking to him a lot about it, and he becomes a much deeper character, and I just feel like they could have really, really, really easily made him an ally.
Yeah.
And didn't.
Yeah. I mean, he was cute enough to become an ally.
Yeah, he is. He's definitely hot enough to become an ally. Why didn't they do that? I'm mad.
Yeah, he's also kind of a brute, too. Like, he's not a quote-unquote nice character.
No, but I mean, most allies
But neither was Kazama, I suppose.
Kazuma's not a nice man. But yeah, so that's Shiranui from Hakuoki. Would like to date him, 100%. The next game with some side characters that we would like to be allies that we're going to talk about is kind of going back to one of our OG games, and that is Hanasaku Mani Mani.
So the character that I wanted to date in Hanasaku Mani Mani was Asano-san.
Asano-san!
And we're going to go back to Hanasaku Mani Mani and kind of give a
brief
overview again, because it wasn't a super popular game, but we love it.
Game.
But basically, you play as Nao, the main character, who gets transported back in time.
Yay!
As they do. And she ends up working for a brothel.
As one does.
And so the whole purpose of her meeting Asano-san is that she's under the training of one of the courtesans at the brothel. The courtesan's name is Kyogiku, and Asano-san is her client. And at some point, Asano-san kind of takes an interest in the main character now. And he's like, oh, like, I would like to meet with her. And he was like, okay, now you're gonna take Asano as a client.
Yeah, and it's very pure.
It's companionship, I guess, is the way they portray it in the game.
Basically, she does not have sex with the clients yet.
Asano-san basically takes an interest in her. And the thing that I like about Asano-san is that he is a kind and sweet and rich older man.
Yeah, but
that can actually take care of the main character.
Yeah, but not old to the point where it's creepy.
No. He's just a kind of slightly older guy. Because the character development that you get for this situation, where Nao actually works with Asano-san as a client, is in one of the LI's route. And this is Takara's route. And his whole thing is the, oh no, she's my sister trope. So, at some point, there's a little bit of contention between Asano-san and Takara. The main reason that I really wanted to date him was because every other LI was messed up in some way. Like, one of them had tuberculosis. One of them was a magical crow. I don't know. None of them could have really sustained a lifestyle with the main character. But Asano-san, he was a high-up member of the Bakufu, of the government at the time. And he had a lot of money, and he was nice to her. He brought her gifts, and he wasn't, overly creepy. She could have ended up with him and had a happy life.
Yeah, he was really nice, and he legitimately liked her.
He did, yeah. That's the character from Hanasaku Mani Mani that I wanted to date.
Yeah, that makes sense. I really liked Asano-san too, and I felt really, really bad for him, considering, what happened with some of the endings. So, if you could choose one of the side characters we talked about to be an LI, which one would it be?
To be honest, I think I would choose Sakuragawa.
You would choose one of mine?
Yes. Because I liked yours too. I would have wanted to date her.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't mean that she couldn't be my choice too.
Okay, fine. You choose Sakuragawa. I approve.
Yes.
I approve. But that's not who I would choose out of all of these characters.
Who would you have chosen?
Epilogue. 100% epilogue. And you know why? It's not just the fact that they made his character design insanely hot. It's the fact that they hinted at some sort of backstory. He's the leader of the quote-unquote fallen angels, but we don't really learn, in depth about how he ended up where he was or more about his character. And just from what I saw, it seemed like he would be a really fun LI.
Okay, so you're thinking about more in terms of the storyline.
I would choose him. If I could turn one side character into an ally, I would choose him.
Yeah.
So, thanks guys for listening to our episode today, Sidetracked by Side Characters, where we talked about the side characters in Ultimate games that we would like to be LIs.
Yes.
Now, we do have a special announcement since this is our 10th episode. We have actually started a Buy Me a Coffee account where you can support the Ultimate Shimai podcast. We currently only have one-time donation option set up, but we are working towards setting up some extra perks for anyone who wants to do monthly donations. We really appreciate all of the great feedback that we've gotten on the podcast, and we're super excited to keep it going. So supporting us with Buy Me a Coffee helps to pay for things like hosting and distributing the podcast every week, which would, really help us out a lot, as this is something that we're doing for fun.
That's right. We're doing it for fun because we like it.
We like it.
In addition to Buy Me a Coffee, we also have Twitter and an Instagram if you want to stay up to date on new episodes and other Otome-related fun stuff.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye!